Topic 1 in Section A, number of accounting terms and definitions that we need to look at. And so we're just going to kind of go through and talk about these things. Some of them we're going to come back and talk about in more detail later as we get into the elements of the financial statements and the financial statements themselves and the process of accounting and the debits and the credits. But just kind of some foundational terms here. These are very possibly a question on the exam. Okay, there's a definition, there's a term, we need to know what it is. And so this is just kind of starting to learn those terms, starting to be ready to use those terms and recognize these terms in a question. So we're going to go ahead and we'll start talking about the role of accounting in business. Why is it that we have an accounting department? What is it that the accounting department does? Why do we have jobs? Why do we need to make certain that we're doing all of this? And so what we're talking about with the accounting function and this process of accounting for a company is really a process of keeping track of what the company is doing. Now, our focus is on financial transactions and monetary transactions. We're not dealing with people being hired and fired and HR functions, and we're not talking about our software updates and things like that. But we're looking at these transactions, these financial transactions that a company enters into and carries out throughout the year. And that's what the accounting function is dealing with. And so what we can say is that the accounting function records the transactions that happens. Every time we pay out money, we record that we paid out money, and we record why. What were we buying? When we receive money, we record the fact that we received money. And why? What did we sell? What service did we provide? So all of these times that money goes in and out, we need to record how much and why. Where did we pay it? Where did we get it from? Why were we paying it? Why were we receiving it? And as we'll see, there's other transactions that don't involve cash that we're also going to record. Okay, but right now we can kind of, in a very basic level, think of this as just recording all of the cash that's going in and out. And as we do that, we'll begin to see that there's some transactions that have kind of happened, but we haven't received the cash yet, or we haven't paid the cash. And so we're going to record those as well. But what we're doing is we're recording all of the transactions that the company is entering into throughout the period. In addition to recording them, we're also going to summarize them, kind of bring them all together. We're going to analyze them, and we're going to report these transactions. Now, one form of reporting that we'll see here very quickly is in the form of the financial statements that we issue publicly. But we're also going to do a lot of reporting internally as well. Things that are outside the scope of the financial statements. We'll give that information to management to use for making decisions. Okay, all of those transactions to purchase the raw materials, to purchase our inventory, to take that inventory and make it into the finished product, we need to report all of that so that we can calculate the price that we're going to sell our product or service at. We need to know how much it costs us to make the product, to provide the service, so that we can set the price. And so that's what we're doing with accounting. And as we go through the process and a little bit of looking at the debits and the credits, that's the recording of the transaction in our financial records. And then we'll summarize that, we'll analyze that, we'll report that. And so it's a big scope. There's a lot that we're doing as we record all of these transactions and report all of these transactions. And so this accounting information is used both internally and externally. We've already talked about it. We use it internally to make our own decisions. It goes externally as part of our financial statements. And those financial statements are the most visible result of the accounting process. That's what we think about. We talk about the annual report. We talk about net income for the company. And that's coming out of the annual report, those financial statements. But we are also using all of that accounting information internally as well. We're going to be making decisions with that as well. And so this conversation about internal and external use of the accounting information leads us very nicely into this question of the difference between management accounting and financial accounting. Financial accounting uses generally accepted accounting standards to prepare the financial statements of the company. Okay, generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP, to prepare the financial statements of the company. External. Okay, those debits and credits that go into those financial statements. That's what we're talking about generally when we talk about financial accounting, that external reporting. Management accounting, on the other hand, is taking all of this information, financial, operational, and we're preparing it and using it internally. Financial accounting and those financial statements, those aren't really interested in determining whether or not we paid too much for rent. They don't calculate whether we paid too much or not for rent. They just record and report how much we did pay for rent. When we start looking at management accounting and these internal decisions, part of what we may be doing is looking at that rent amount and trying to determine, was it too much? Were there other alternatives we had that could have saved us money? So management accounting is much larger in scope than financial accounting. It's much larger than what it looks at. It's not only financial and that financial reporting. And also, management accounting doesn't have those external rules like GAAP. It doesn't have those GAAP rules. We can do whatever we want internally. There's requirements for how we report that information externally, but internally, we don't have those same requirements. We're able to do what it is that we want to do with that reporting. Okay, so that's management accounting and financial accounting. The next topic that we're going to look at are the different types of business enterprises. Now, we've got a number here that we're going to look at, but all of these business enterprises are going to have an accounting function. It might be more developed in a large publicly traded company and much smaller in a sole proprietorship. But every company needs to have this financial information to be able to make decisions and to know at the end of the year how well they did. Okay, so we're just going to go through the different types of enterprises that exist. At the most basic and simple level, we have a sole proprietorship. There's one owner. This is the easiest type of business to start. There may or may not be many formal requirements for the government, to legally set up a sole proprietorship. And generally in the case of a sole proprietorship, the owner is the company. And the company is the owner. If the company, the sole proprietorship, owes somebody money and the company doesn't pay, well, that sole proprietor, the owner, has the pleasure and privilege of paying that debt that the company owes. So in a sole proprietor, the owner and the company are basically the same entity. Now, in a corporation, we see a difference in that the corporation is separate from its owners. The shareholders who own a corporation are not liable to pay the debts of the corporation. Okay? The corporation is its own legal entity. The corporation can enter into contracts. The corporation can borrow money. The corporation can sue somebody, can be sued by somebody, and the corporation pays taxes. So a corporation is when there's a separation of the owners from that legal entity of the corporation. Now, when we have a corporation, we have shares that are being sold to represent the ownership of that corporation. And in a private company, the shares are not traded publicly. There may be a lot of owners, there may only be a few owners, but it's known who it is, and those shares are not available for you and me to buy. Now, they can sell them, and they may find somebody else to sell them, but they're not publicly traded. They're not traded on a stock exchange somewhere. A public company, on the other hand, is a company whose shares are sold on an exchange, oftentimes to raise capital for the company. Because it's a public company, and you and I are able to go out into the stock market and buy shares in this company, there's a lot more reporting requirements. This is where we have those generally accepted accounting policies that have to be followed. US GAAP, IFRS, okay, whatever it is that the company is required to follow. But a public company are shares that are exchanged publicly on an exchange, on a stock market. There may be few owners, there may be millions of owners, but the shares are able to be bought and sold on an exchange. Now, we also have a partnership, and what we have in a partnership is two or more people that are managing and operating a business for profit. Okay? Two or more people come together and they're operating that business for a profit. Now, they may not make a profit, but that's the goal of it at least. Okay? They're trying to be profitable in the business that they're operating. Now, in a partnership, at least one partner has to be liable for the debts of the partnership. Okay, remember we said as a sole proprietor, the owner and the company are the same thing. And so if the company has debts, the company owes money, and the company doesn't pay, the owner has to pay. Well, in a partnership, at least one of the partners has to have that responsibility for the debts of the partnership. Not all of the partners need to have that. Okay, but there needs to be at least one partner who has that, what's called general liability. They're a general partner. And if the partnership doesn't pay its debts, that general partner or whoever the general partners are will have to pay the debts. When we talk about a partnership, examples are generally accounting firms and legal firms, are very often partnerships. Now, we also have a joint venture. And in a joint venture, we have two or more companies that are working together to achieve something. Okay, it's a situation where the two companies say, hey, we do this really well, but we're not very good at that. And you do that really well, but you're not very good at this. And so the two companies come together with the idea that together they're better than each of them individually. There may be a very specific purpose that they're operating together for, or there may be a more general purpose. Doesn't need to be permanent. It's probably not a permanent joint venture. But an important thing here is that in that joint venture, each of the companies continues to be its own legal entity. When we have a merger or an acquisition, one of the legal entities no longer exists. But in a joint venture, Company A and Company B work together and both continue to exist, both continue to pay taxes, both are their own separate legal entity. And we also have then finally a nonprofit organization. This is a company that has a charitable or a social cause reason that it exists. Okay, something that's providing benefit to the public, benefit to a group of the public. Generally, nonprofit organizations are tax exempt. They don't have to pay taxes, but they need to meet the requirements of whatever country they're registered in to maintain that nonprofit status. Okay, there's generally you can't distribute the profits of the company to anybody or the profits of that nonprofit organization. It's very possible that a nonprofit organization actually has a profit, that the money coming in is more than the money going out. But because they're a nonprofit organization, it's not income and it's not distributed to anybody. It has to stay in that nonprofit organization and be used for the purposes of that nonprofit organization. Okay, so this is the first set of terms that we have, and we're going to take a break here and we'll pick this up again with another video where we go through some more terms and definitions, but nothing difficult here. Just understanding what we're talking about with different types of accounting, the reason that we have accounting, and the different types of business entities. But we'll talk about some more terms and definitions in the next video.